My Lord Mayor locum tenens, ladies and gentlemen, I was most touched to be asked to address you this evening at the Mansion House, and I hardly need to say how sorry I am that I cannot be with you in person. Now, 4 years ago, after several years, I have to say, of exhaustive effort to make the case, I was delighted to host a similar gathering at St. James's Palace, and somewhat to my surprise, it turned out to be a rather historic occasion. St. James's Palace has seen many historic occasions, but dare I say it, that meeting may have been one of the most significant to occur. With the help of my Accounting for Sustainability project, we held a round-table discussion that brought together the global leaders from the financial reporting, investment and business community. The aim was to agree that a transformation in corporate reporting was essential to understand and communicate the value of companies in the 21st century, and for me, ultimately, the value of nature's services which underpin our own economy. Tomorrow, just 4 years later, we will see another historic day. The International Integrated Reporting Council will meet to approve the first International Integrated Reporting Framework. I really am delighted that the United Kingdom has taken such a lead in adopting an integrated approach to corporate reporting that tells a coherent story of an organisation's ability to create value into the future. The Chancellor of the Exchequer was at St. James's Palace to witness the IIRC's inception, and the United Kingdom government has recently introduced a requirement for companies to prepare a strategy report which creates a pathway for companies to follow in order to achieve integrated reporting. Stock exchanges and regulators around the world have also started to adopt these proposals, as well as many companies on a voluntary basis. There are a growing number of reasons why we need to adopt integrated reporting as soon as we can, and crucially, the integrated approach to management that must underpin it. Firstly, it recognizes that an organization does not operate in a vacuum, but is reliant not only on financial and manufactured capital, but also upon the other forms of capital, the intellect of the people who work for the organization, the goodwill of the community and wider society, and the water, soil, forests, wetlands, raw materials, and other forms of natural capital, without which none of us would be here, and which is rapidly being destroyed. Secondly, it also challenges the narrowness and retrospective emphasis of most accounting information, a move away from the comfort of dealing with certainties and historical information and towards addressing the less certain, broader and longer-term consequences of our actions. And finally, it does place the emphasis squarely on the long term. At present, we operate with only a tiny fraction of the knowledge we need in order to make better choices. Integrated reporting promises a much more comprehensive picture. But I am well aware that to develop and provide this information is hard. Tougher still, I'm afraid, is to make it clear, concise, and comprehensible. So this is about improving communication, not simply compliance with rules and regulations. This is why, for me, integrated reporting is only the start. It is my hope that this will eventually lead to organizations properly valuing and communicating their impact on natural capital. Currently, we just take it for granted and imagine it goes on forever, despite intense human pressure, unsustainable population growth, and the ever-growing risk multiplier of climate change. But now, we cannot take it for granted, as if we still operated in the 19th century, and we urgently need to move towards a situation where the value of nature's services is integrated into decision-making and reporting practices. After all, this is key not only to maintaining a functioning economy and society for both ourselves and the next generation, but also to a company's ability to create value into the future. We now have the opportunity to rethink the way we measure success, to redefine how we value the world, and reshape the way capitalism itself develops in order to conserve the things that ultimately sustain us on this, the only habitable planet in the universe. But, ladies and gentlemen, it will take all of those organizations represented here today to achieve the change needed at the scale and pace required, and to avoid the catastrophic consequences of continuing along our current path. I can only encourage you with all my heart to adopt the IIRC's recommendations and to do all that you can to ensure that integrated reporting becomes the new reporting norm.